Hello, everyone, and welcome to our anniversary, the 50th episode of the ArtaCast. Yeah, it was a bit, we had some issues, also from scheduling and other things. So sorry for that. We are back with set 10. We both did a lot of testing, and the meta, yeah, evolved a ton, I think. And yeah, we're going to talk about that today. And Eddie, did you play a lot of Lorcana? And if so, how do you feel about the meta game right now? About the game?
Um, yes, I have played a lot. Yeah, I've played a lot more than I've played in recent sets. Yeah, I've played hundreds of games of this format. Because it's it, it's really hard for me to put my finger exactly on how I feel about it. I would say I really, really like it, but I really like it in comparison to how much I really disliked Set 9.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having a ton of fun with the game because it feels to me like it's back in a position where I can have fun with it. Um, I don't think it's the greatest format ever, by any stretch of the imagination, but I think set 9 for me was such an incredible low point in my enjoyment of the game. I almost didn't think it possible for me to enjoy this game so little because we'd lived through like the problems with all the Hiram before
Mm-hmm.
the Hiram ban when that was all crazy, when Green Steel Bucky was really like oppressive. We'd seen so many things come and go that felt like, you know what, like these were genuine problems. This is like the depth, this is the depths that the game can go to. It doesn't get much worse than this. But set 9, and I put a tweet out this week where I said, like, look, I really did hold back on my dooming about set 9 because I wanted to continue making content and doing this podcast and having it be fun and not just whining for people. But it was so not fun for me at all. I was really close to completely quitting the game. Really close at times. I was sort of genuinely upset. Think in the way that you get when you think like something that I love has been destroyed. I take things very personally, and I can be very emotionally charged. So for me to watch a game that I love descend into that state was really, really it's upsetting. Like it actually was upsetting. I put a lot of my time and effort into this game, and the state of it was just so miserable from my point of view. This is I totally appreciate it. Different people experience the game in different ways, and different things are fun for them. The way that I have fun, but was just fundamentally not possible. So set 10 for me has so much more promise on that side of things. I'm back to smiling and feeling positive about the game because I can experience the game in the way I like to experience it, and I can sort of the way that I express myself through card games feels possible again, within this format. So yeah, I've got some decks to talk about. I played primarily Green Steel Max Goof. Obviously, there are no online leaderboards for this game, but if they existed, then I would have reached the top of them this week. Um, but yeah, so I've got some decks to talk about. And do you want to get straight into that? Or do you want to talk about the sort of game at large? Or do you
Yeah,
have
we
thoughts
can
on
we
what I
can talk.
just
Yeah,
said about set 9?
I can also talk a bit about my experience.
Yeah.
And mm, yeah, a lot of the things you said right now, I think you explained it very good. And also very understandable for people how you felt about Set 9. And I don't know. I just want to say I really struggle right now about the game. Personally, I have mental. I can say that honestly. I don't mind it. I have mental struggles. I didn't expect that the game means so much to me. Honestly, when I say these things, because I'm really. It's weird maybe to hear that, but I'm going through tough times. Yeah, tough times is maybe too much. I have also a bit like other things, private things going on, so it's a bit weird for me right now. That's why I was not able to record. I think yeah, exactly the things that you said right now are happening to me right now. I'm not able to enjoy the game. I am not able to have any feeling anymore. Even I play games and I don't feel anything because I think everything is so meaningless. And
Mm,
that's so sad. And I want to make a short disclaimer, a big short disclaimer here. Everything that I say now, because I will honestly say many negative things for me, and I want to say something that's very important for me, and that's is I don't want to say things and make other influenced by that too much. If you enjoy the game, then please enjoy the game. I really beg you to enjoy the game. And I don't want to be responsible or something for someone for dooming or something, because I really want people to enjoy the game. And if I'm the only one that really doesn't enjoy the game, then it's totally fine for me because I'm happy for everyone that enjoys the game. And that's why I also struggled to make this episode at all because I thought like, why I have to do that? Because I think I don't want to spread negativity. Um,
mm,
but in the end, I think it cannot be too wrong to just share my thoughts and make maybe at least make people make a different view about things and just maybe have some things you can see from a just a German player, I don't know, and then maybe think about it. And if you think please think I'm stupid. If you think I'm stupid, and please think that I don't have any confidence anymore. I don't think I have any opportunity to skill gap in this game, and that is for multiple reasons. But I'm doing too much. Let's first start about your green steel deck because I really want to talk about it. And I don't want to
yeah,
start too negative, but I think I have to say these things, and then I want to start it,
yeah.
and I think that's okay. I hope you don't mind it. Um, yeah.
I mean, I don't mind at all. I think it's really important. One of the things that people really like about listening to us is that we are always authentic about our
Yeah,
feelings.
that's exactly
Um,
that what I think is important.
we,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we share how we feel in an honest way, and you hit on a good point, which is like, a lot of people, they consume content around card games because they're interested in creators ideas and things like that, and that's great. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you see a deck that one of us builds and you think, hey, that looks really cool, I want to try that out, that's absolutely why we do this, and that's really cool. But you don't need to borrow feelings from content creators. I would say
Of course.
is a really good, yeah. If you're having fun, then have fun. And yeah, the other thing I wanted to say is it's quite lucky that this hasn't happened to us at the exact same time, or we really wouldn't be recording this video. Which is that it's weird that I hated Set 9 so much and you actually found ways to really enjoy that, and then it's this format that you don't like and I'm really really back to enjoying it, which is odd because we've always enjoyed the exact same things. But there must be something there about there's something in there that I've tried to unpack, but it's too you get too much into the nitty gritty of game design,
Mm-hmm.
because the problems, I think a lot of people think in terms of like very simple problems that would make a game unenjoyable, like, oh, there is one tier zero deck. That's probably the most common scenario of,
Mm-hmm.
thinking about what a quote unquote like bad format is. Um, that is way, way, way less of a problem for me um than issues that like Set 9 had, which was just that I understand that with Lorcana, like fundamentally in the game design, like the threats are always better than the answers. They always have been.
Mm-hmm.
The state of our removal has been better in the past, but has always trailed behind the quality of characters and proactive things
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for the most part. Um, but the the way that switched up after rotation was so egregious to me that the game was completely unenjoyable. Like everything was linear runouts. Everything revolved around the same sort of runouts, which were basically like you did the same thing proactively and reactively, and to me that is like the biggest game design sin. I can't sit down and play a game where Genie, Elsa, Belle is the best thing to do on the play and on the draw, regardless of your matchup. It's I can't. I
Mm-hmm.
can't engage with that game. I can't do it. Um, I can't find like when those cards represent the best proactive threats and the best removal options in the exact same format. I cannot sit down and enjoy it. Um, so I completely understand where you're coming from. I think that like the lack of, it's not variance, but it's variation. Everything is quite sort of homogenized. A
Yeah,
lot of these
I
decks
think
revolve around like really, really clear runouts where, like you say, there are fewer opportunities for skill expression and gapping because
no, that
it's
the format has a very symptomatic problem. But I think let's look at your list because I think it's
okay. Let's do
because
decks first.
yeah, yeah.
Cool. It's like I'm getting ahead of myself.
Let's please explain your deck and what it tries to do
Yep.
and what the idea maybe was. I think everyone is excited about it because I think it's very strong because you proved that it's very strong and
Yep.
yeah
Yeah. So this is the set 10 version of my Max Goof Green Steel deck that I played last set. Kind of sort of came out of nowhere as it was very much my attempt at finding a path through a format that really was deeply unenjoyable to me. And it was sort of like the lone beacon of light within set 9 for me of like, at least I can anchor myself off this concept and I know it's fun. I know I can have fun with it. So um, it gained some massive, massive stuff in set 10, which is really good. I tested tons of things this week. There are cards that um, yeah, so maybe the best place to start is with some of the cards that aren't in the deck. And I think the key one that people will see here and think fits is Goliath. I tested it extensively. It performed way under my expectations in this deck. As a caveat, I think it's an insanely good card in blue steel, but just here it didn't do what it needed to do. It was yeah, just often like my opponents were running out of resources at the same time as me, and I was just fueling them up, and it wasn't really getting me over the line. It wasn't letting me build explosive wide boards like Doc does. So I just refocused on bouncing and replaying Docs as I had in the past. But the main new thing the deck has gained is Webby. The Shift Webby line is my favorite thing to do in set 10 by a long way. You keep up with ramp like crazy. You can start to do things like just skip your natural ink for the turn to gain card advantage and just instead quest with Webby when you're free. You know that with Mother Knows Best, Strength, and Thunderbolt, this deck does a great job of keeping the board completely clear. So you get loads of quests off with Webby, so you can actually do things like that, like gain your card advantage by inking for turn with Webby, always staying on ink parity with your opponent rather than getting up ahead of them and just play all of your cards instead of inking one of them every turn, which actually makes a huge difference. Um, the Clarabelle line's as good as ever. Yeah, I just Webby really, really does huge things for this deck because all of its weak matchups before were like the blue things. Purple Steel was still tough and remains the worst matchup, but like all of your blue matchups, like Blurple, Blue Green, they just get so much better with Webby. It really helps solve that problem. So I've had a ton of fun with it. And I think that actually the right path forward for the deck is not putting too much new stuff in there, just dropping in Webby and Lexington basically, and and Thunderbolt. And between those three cards, they make very meaningful changes to the deck. So I've had a ton of fun with it. Like I say, obviously the game doesn't have online leaderboards, but if it did, I would have achieved rank 1 with this. So
you would have yeah
I would have theoretically
theoretically
theoretically, in
Absolutely.
theory. So yes, it tested very, very well by the end, and I've been
How's
very
the blue
comfortable
steel
with it. Yeah,
matchup? Did you test because blue steel seemed to raise a bit like the last half week or so?
yeah.
Did you how did you like that matchup? Blue steel?
Um, I
I think
I
it's okay,
I love
probably.
playing.
Yeah.
I love playing against Blue Steel. I would play against Blue Steel forever if I could. Um, these decks that just prioritize ramping up to like deploying one big threat every turn are just exactly what this deck wants to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
in the past, their ramp was so good that they would get so far ahead of you, they were terrible matchups. You know, like if you're there like playing with 4 or 5 ink at the point when you're getting Hades, that becomes unwinnable for you. But if I shift a Webby turn 2 against them, that just turns the matchup completely. And yeah, I'm very confident into them from that point on. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it's easy in comparison to how impossible it would have felt in the past, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very happy to take that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm even happy to just like bounce their Vincenzos and stuff and just
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, you can smash me every turn with your 8 ink if you want. Just hit something for 3. Like it's totally fine. I'm gonna take more game actions than you and bounce your big thing. It just doesn't matter to me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I had a great time with it, and
Nice.
I I even love playing into Cinderella. Like she lines up because she ramps you. Like whereas Kida, for example, is another 4 cost ramp option, a character that ramps you. She only ramps the turn after. With Cinderella ramping immediately at the end of turn she's played, it's obviously super good for them, but it's also good for making sure that our Webby continuously inks up. So there's no gap where you kind
Mm-hmm.
of like caught up. They always keep themselves one ahead of you, which is very much their plan. So it's not like they're doing anything wrong. But yeah, I really like how these things line up that you actually can get so much ink with Webbies, and yeah, I'm so high on Webby. I can't understate it. I love this card. I love
Mm-hmm.
it, and so much of my positive feeling about Set 10 comes from the euphoria of shifting a Webby on turn 2. It's just what I want to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Nice. But I think that's a good example because your list is probably the best example for what I feel right now. Because your list shows me two things. First of all, I really want to say that and um, emphasize that you're an incredible deck builder, especially in the start of of the set. You always show you don't get enough praise for that. You cannot show this because there's no meaningful tournaments most of the time in the start of a set, but you are ahead of everyone always. Every set you are ahead of the people. I think it's really important to someone says that to you because you understand the things so much. I think I totally see everything about you what you said. I Yeah, what you
Yeah,
understood in
thank
my
you.
what you understood in my sense of the game is I really want to talk about the card. How can I start? I really want to. It's probably silly because people think, oh, get over it, Artabax. But I really want to talk about Dog. Dog is a card um,
Hmm.
that exists since set 5 or something. That is, for me in general, not a good design card for skill expression. I want to explain why. In aggro decks, I completely see it because, or I can see it because I remember when Decandio first came out with this Ember Steel aggro deck where Dog was his draw tool, and I can see that in aggro decks because in aggro decks you really want to um, nearly get to 20 low with your opening hand, and your Dog is nearly just your additional card draw that you need most of the time to get over the line. So I can see the strategy, but in this format, it's for me personally, it's absolutely ridiculous that every deck is a dog pile now. Every deck plays
Hmm.
dog, and every deck cannot have cards in their hand. So what I don't like about dog, that's what my concern is. I don't want to take away the skill from the deck, Eddie. I hope you know that. But as soon as you draw a dog, from my understanding, it simplifies the play patterns of
Yep.
you drastically. And by drastically, I mean basically if you have a dog in your hand, you have no other choice than dump your hand and play the dog and draw 2 cards. It's completely different to a card like Rabbit or something where you have so many different options to do. And the whole format dumps the hand and
Yep.
not even worse than that, dumps the opposing hand. Because you need to dump your hand because there's Clarabelle, there's Goliath, there's Benturable, there's Demona, there's nothing. No deck is allowed to have cards in the hand. That is absolutely ridiculous. And cards in your hand are for me completely essential to skill express. I don't know how
Yeah.
people can outplay people without options. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I'm not able to. I play blue steel. I can show the list now. I think the deck is strong. I and Cinderella makes the deck even more linear. I don't understand
Hmm.
why I'm the only one that has issues with it. I totally can't see that. I remember last set when people asked me in my Metafy about rogue decks that are good, and I said play blue steel. It's a cool deck. It's also ridiculously easy to play, and this is the
Yep.
pillar of that. It has so linear runouts. This is unbelievable for me. I don't know, and I really doubted myself because I thought I'm living in another world. I don't know. I see people enjoying this deck, and I think, what exactly are you doing different than me? I cannot see that in at all. And
Hmm.
purple mirrors were not the best, but I think if your opponent nearly didn't high roll completely, I saw a lot of potential to get in this grindy states where you. But this format is a completely dump your hand format where I can't think of solutions because I'm not allowed to have cards in my hand because I get punished by every card in this format to have cards in my
Yep.
hand. The only way for me to get over this is playing aggressive strategy. But the aggressive decks have so problems to play around so many different cards that exist now because you need to play about Spooky, Under the Sea. There are so many things you can't play around them all, and then you need a Mowgli and stuff. So it's like uh, it is so unfun to me, and I would be just curious about thoughts of other pro players because many people seem to find this deck strong, and I think it is strong. And I'm totally confused. How
Yep.
differ the play lines? You can only turn 2 ramp, turn 3 you play Cinderella, and then what do? You have 6 costs in your deck. Of course you play something of them. What I don't know.
Yep.
I can and everyone is like having no cards in their hand because you should dump your hand because you get punished by having cards in your hand. You can't attrition plays no role. And then if you realize that, then I just realize how clever you are, LD, because once you realize that you get punished by having cards in hand, suddenly Matanos Best becomes the best card of the format because you get punished by having
Absolutely.
it's so it's so unfun for me. And Webby, I know that you like it, but I think it's I can't get over this card. It's so horrible card design for me. It is unbelievable. The Webby is I can't even think about what they thought. I don't know. They print this card, say we make blue overpowered, and then we say, come on, green, you get a chance, yeah, to catch up, but only if you high roll because you need the Diablo shift, yeah. And then if you have that, you have a non-game. No matter what, if you have it, you have a non-game because the opponent, the blue dice have no way to play around that. And if you don't have it, you can't catch up with tempo, so you have a non-game that way. So in both ways, you have a non-game. Uh, I don't know. It's just I'm probably stupid, and I really want to be
No.
stupid, and
No. No. No.
I want everyone to have fun. Really, I want to emphasize that. And the pillar is just one thing. Sorry, and then I'm finished. Um,
Yeah. No. Go for it.
I heard. I couldn't believe my ears. Do you say that? Believe my ears?
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I, I
Yeah.
watched the Podcana, yeah, and I
Hmm.
couldn't believe it. There were, by the way, Podcana, big shout out. I really love the new team there. I'm sad that Moyen isn't there anymore, but I think the new team is a very great synergy. I think they do that very well. And so big shout out to the new team, Thiago, Zach Bivens, Sky, and Kava. So great. And they talked about Blue Steel, and I couldn't believe it. There is a card in the Blue Steel decks. that I'm refusing to. I nearly refuse to play that card, and that's this Headless Horseman. Do you know that? That's the 8 cost.
Yep.
When you
Yep.
read this card, I can't stand the look of this card. That's just for explanation. 8 cost 5/7. When you play this character, each player draws 3 cards, discards 3 cards at random. Yeah, at random. And then you deal
Hmm.
damage to a character by the amount of action cards discarded. How on earth do you include this card to your deck and think you have a strategy? I don't. It is you. No matter. I don't know. I don't care how good this card is. You're starting the complete casino mode when you play this card. It's
Yep.
so. It's ridiculous. And then I don't know. I don't know. And then Sky said, "Yeah, I think this is a good inclusion." And then Sky, oh, I don't know. You're a fucking legend. I watched your streams in set three where you played Blue Steel and you wheeled, and then I stopped the stream because I wanted to what to think about how you could play this out, and now you say this card is a good addition as a because then people say, but I play this as the last card in my hand to disrupt my opponent. Yeah, because I disrupt. So every part of this card is random. Every part of this card, you draw random cards, you discard random cards, your opponent draws random cards. You do random damage, and you say, okay, I play this. Maybe it kills something. I don't know. I can't. It is completely in comparison to last formats. And now I'm stop complaining. I want you to
Yep.
interrupt
No,
me, and I want you to say I'm stupid. I really want you to say me that because
yeah,
I
I mean,
read
the
it's ridiculous for me. I don't know.
the the, sa- the sad thing is, like, I'm not going to tell you that you're stupid at any point, and I'm probably going to say the absolute worst thing to you, which is like, I think that your feelings, the reason that nobody else feels them is that, well, first of all, I think other people do feel similar things. I think that of the people that do, many of them can't articulate the feeling quite so well, have no reason to articulate it quite so well because they're like players and not content creators. So why do you need you don't need to
yeah.
sit around thinking. You don't have to reflect on your feelings and think, how do I put these feelings across? You just feel them, and that's life. And there are a lot of people that just like aren't analyzing the game and its core feelings and patterns in as much detail. So no, I think the things you're saying are completely correct. I think that um, you know, like Headless Horseman is a great example. It reads like a Hearthstone card.
Yeah, it
It's
was
like
it's a Hearthstone
it,
card.
it's like so a card shouldn't say random on it that many times. It's a Hearthstone card. It's not like if you think about like the origins of this game and why we fell in love with it, it's completely at odds with it. Um, yeah, it's just not. It doesn't feel like a part of the game that we've been playing. It's I think the big thing that you hit on here, which is that like there is it makes you feel a bit like a conspiracy theorist that you're like, there's a big picture going on here. We're all sheep that are being led. People are pulling the strings. That there is a big what you raise about like dumping your hand. There is a conspiracy. There is a hand dump conspiracy. There's a conspiracy to make you think less and have fewer options because you are either an aggro deck that's incentivized to just empty your hand onto the board, a ramp deck that's incentivized to dump your hand into the inkwell, or you are a mid-range deck that's incentivized to keep your resources low so that you don't get punished by Clarabelle, opposing docks, discard effects, all of these types of things. Um, that are all going on, pushing you in the same sort of direction. Cards like Horizon, that sort of thing. Like there are all these different ways that you can get punished for holding cards and having
Goliath.
options. And yeah, Goliath, Demona. There are all of these things that every single color almost
Yeah, and
has
the problem is
meaningful meta relevant cards pushing you towards holding less, which means thinking less, which means yeah, fewer options, which pushes you even further towards linear runouts. And this is my core problem with all of these sale decks, and you can track it over months of the podcast. I have so little respect for, like, which sounds like disrespect and disdain, but it's like people put these like rampy control decks on such a pinnacle of like, well, it's a sort of pseudo control deck, so it must have massive skill expression because I remember that from other card games. I think they are the most linear, brainless piles out there, and I will not apologize for that. I think that like at its peak, people went out of their way to glorify red blue at its peak, like red blue Sisu deck. What an incredible expression of skill it is. I could not see it at the time, and I can see it even less now. These things are so wildly linear. You just dump stuff into the inkwell and then play cards in your hand with the number in the left hand corner equal to the cards in your inkwell, and
Yeah,
you
but
think,
but
what
but
what a genius I am.
yeah, but in Red Blue in the past, I have to admit, at least you had more options. I don't know. There's so many more options than now. I think you just yeah, exactly. Now you just play I don't know. It is. But as soon as you play the card Headless Horseman in your deck, I think then you must see that there's an issue. I don't know. You can't play this card and think, oh yeah, it's good. Maybe kill something or so. It's the best thing I can do, and I have no cards anyway. And when we speak about Hearthstone, I in my despair because I'm kind of apparently I'm addicted to card games. I played Hearthstone a bit, and I don't know. I'm not a Hearthstone pro, but at least I enjoyed the feeling so much that it's turn 5 or turn 6, and I have 5 cards in my hand, and I can actually choose which cards I play. It is.
Mm.
I couldn't. Even red purple. I think red purple is kind of playable, but you need to hit Diablo, Sisu, or you completely get outpaced by this. This is so. I don't know. It's. The only deck I can watch it, and that will probably upset you very much, and don't get like bit disgusted is Blurple because I think that's the only deck. But even
Mhm.
that is like a deck you need to dump your head anyway. You play against these
Yep.
decks. You need to hyper ramp. So it's yeah, I don't know. It's at least for me
Yeah.
right now. It's these blue decks are too strong, and Cindy, I think still the most important part about her is that she's the 4 cost like Ram card. I think that's the most important part about her.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
I was not able to imagine how these decks get away with that. I don't know. I thought in theory I thought okay, the upside of Cindy is to play double Cindy. To play double Cindy, then you can. But in which format in the past it was possible to skip turn 2, turn 3, and turn 4 to do nothing basically. But it's
Yep.
possible somehow. I don't know why. It's you have these aggro decks have no additions. The only good card is Daisy. It seems like I don't know. It feels
Well,
yeah.
l- I just want to speak on that a little bit,
Uh,
because I think I have some interesting insights to share.
mm-hmm,
I have put up very, very good win rates in testing with aggro decks,
mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah,
that aren't quite ready to show yet. They're a little undercooked, but it's where I'm operating. There is a dance going on with the card Spooky Sight.
yeah.
Um,
That's a
Spooky
problematic card.
Sight,
This,
Spooky Sight should make traditional linear aggro decks bad. It should be like enough of a like powerful deck against their strategies that it makes them bad. Um, because the extra inkwell size against a lot of those traditional decks is like irrelevant. They're playing loads of 1, 2, 3 drops, and by the time you play it, they've mostly emptied their hand. Like maybe they hold a dock and then deploy 3 things the next turn. It's not an unwinnable board position. It
mm-hmm.
should be very, very good. Um, However, all of these blue decks in their infinite greed, which is completely how they operate, um, they are sort of like many of them are just staunchly refusing to play it. It's one of those cards, as we said in spoiler season, where um, its existence means that like because Spooky Sight exists, you are incentivized to not play aggro. There is now a playable card that is super good against your strategy and in theory playable in a lot of tier 1 decks. Um, that at that level, at the deck choice level, should disincentivize you from playing aggro. So if aggro is disincentivized, the blue players don't need to put it in their deck so
Mm-hmm.
much. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
this
Yeah,
ridiculous
yeah,
cycle
yeah.
of like someone, oh, I can't remember exactly who it was, but I was talking to a friend and they put it really nicely. They said, oh, now I'm blanking. What did they say? I really liked it. Yeah, they said you get to choose. Do you want to risk losing in the first 3, 4 rounds of a DLC to random aggro decks? Or do you want to beat those aggro decks and lose to the greedier blue decks who
Mm-hmm.
just took a chance on not running into the aggro decks and
Mm-hmm.
didn't play spooky? Um, which one do you want to go for? And you, within that greed war between the blue decks, there is an opportunity to actually play aggro and smash them. I truly believe that. I think that we can rely if you want to think 2 steps ahead, you can rely on a race to the bottom and just exploit the fact that they believe that aggro is not tier 1
Yeah,
and
if I play tournaments, I
they
will for
don't build it into
sure
their
play
thinking.
Upco. I don't. And if I would play Blue Steel, I would beg my opponent to slam a daisy. I would shake their hand and say, "Congratulations, you done the right thing. I'm happy for you."
Yep.
It
Yeah.
is
I,
because Spooky is the next card. I it is webby and spooky that I can't get my spooky is both cards lead to so many non-games because spooky card is another card that has so many non-games around the card because
yeah.
you win automatically when you play it against these aggressive decks, but in other games it's a complete brick. So how many of these
Hmm.
cards do you play in the deck? It's totally stupid to decide. It's not even possible to make the right choice. You just have to gamble because the card is such a giga brick in so many matchups. But in other matchups, you need. I know you have Cindy and you can Inca sometimes, but it's like not. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know where we
Um,
where we started. Where we thought about.
yeah, I mean, I think that like this whole episode is going to read as quite ranty,
Yeah,
as
no,
if we
no, no. I
as if
don't
we're
want to.
super unhappy, which as if we're super unhappy, which you are, like you are super unhappy, and that's okay. Um, I'm agreeing with a lot of your points, but I also come from the position of I am really enjoying this format because there is room for creativity, and for you, the core point of enjoyment is all about is the
Skill.
skill expression that
Yeah.
comes through choice.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to feel like you are realistically able to express your skill through different play patterns and lines by making meaningful decisions. The game cards in the game have converged in such a way where it doesn't make sense to have more decisions. You just shouldn't. So for you, it's unenjoyable. For me, the thing that I constantly get caught on and that changes my that warps my enjoyment of the game is counterplay.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like my deep hatred of red blue in the past all came from the fact that there was no good counterplay to a lot of what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't realistically prevent a lot of this stuff. All of my negative thoughts towards Blurple last set is like, where's the counterplay? Um, they were all doing these things that just like were so much better than any of the realistic answers you could play, and anything you could do that was specifically good against them was so much worse against the other decks that you should just be playing one of those other decks. Um, I think there's tons of counterplay to
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
It is
that's
all
That's
just like
fair.
it's all linear runout decks, but there is counterplay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not having many moments where I think, oh, what a genius I am! I found the line. I found it through all of these options. Um, but I still get a huge dopamine hit when I turn to shift a Webby against a blue deck. Because
Yeah.
for me, just being able to like stick my middle finger up to sail the Azurite Sea is like is enough of a positive feeling. And it's like I've been wandering the desert for so long. I've been just sat out here going crazy, hallucinating with lack of water. Oh, please, anything that just lets me realistically keep pace with a blue deck. It's just like the sheer idea of that happening is so deeply joyous to me that I can have fun and I am having fun. So I really appreciate what you say about my deck building early in the set because it's really, really hard to be putting ideas out there that are formed from this. It sounds so conceited to say like one step ahead, but it's like at this stage, we're still in week one of a format, and I get lots of questions like, why not play Goliath in your deck? And it's like I played 100 games with Goliath. It was frequently terrible in this deck, and I'm trying to respond to what the other decks are doing. It's really hard to think on that level of like where essentially you're like you've established what your perceived meta is of 5, 6, 7 decks, and you're trying to build specifically into the exploitable weaknesses in
Mm-hmm.
those strategies and in that format. And you're discussing publicly like while people are still thinking very linearly about like what does this deck do in a
Mm-hmm.
vacuum,
Mm-hmm.
how do I utilize these new cards in a vacuum. It's tough. It's tough to convince people of these things, and
No,
I don't want to spend my time convincing other people on my ideas. I,
no,
I
no,
just don't. I
that's,
find it so difficult.
and I think in many ways, I don't want to blame. I mean, it's like some of this I of course thought about these things and thought that okay, it's a bit lazy game design because I have to admit, like if you force everyone to dump your hand, then you don't have to balance card draw in this game because everyone needs to dump their hand anyway. So
Yep.
that's something I really thought, but I don't want to say that too much. But for Webby, it's like of course it's good to print cards that are counterplay to this blue decks. That's not what I want to say. I just don't want to, but please don't print them in a way that you need to high roll them. If you do, you have a
Yeah.
non-gain. If you don't. It's. I don't get over this because even the blue decks can say, I don't have counterplay to this. There's no option. She has ward. What can I have to do? I don't know. It's like I have to play this four cost Scrooge or something. I don't know. It's like um. So yeah, but I want to also say something positive. Um,
Yep.
I think one color combination, but it's very sad that I can't talk about it yet. Is completely overlooked in this meta, and is completely viable. And I'm really, really convinced about it. And but the runouts are so linear to it. It's
Mm.
but it's like I'm really happy to show that soon. Next week I will show that on Twitter. But for reasons you will hear soon, I can't show it now, sadly. But it's one. If you see soon a new color combination nobody talked about it, make sure I saw that too, and I will show that. Hopefully, show that there's something that's nearly the only deck I felt myself playing the game. It's sad to say that, but um, but I want to talk about a different deck um,
Hmm.
that you want to show too, and that's the green purple deck.
Yeah.
And that is one of the only decks that I think, okay, that's cool.
Hmm.
Because it's like it's only deck that really makes sure, okay, I have cards in my hand, yeah, and
Yeah.
gets around all this, but it's completely, yeah, disrupts this attrition based aspect of the game. So yeah, tell me about the deck. What is
Yeah.
your
So
thinking?
yeah. So this deck, yeah, not an original creation. I did ask, I did ask my friend, well, our friend Dave Solberg,
Mhm.
AttackForTwo, for his blessing on sharing it,
Shout
um,
out to
and
Attack for Two.
using it in a video. Yeah, I mean, just quickly before I even get into it, like when it comes to enjoyment of the game, um, and thinking differently within like the environment of a game environment that can feel very linear, can feel like you're just picking which path you dump your hand in. Um, I just want to extend like a shout out to some of the people that have really, really kept this game enjoyable and engaging for me, and that's yeah, Dave Solberg, Boomy,
Mhm.
Justin, Jack X Shadows, JDRR. There's like too many uh, people really to just like call out individually. There's a whole group of these people that I am blessed to be able to talk to about the game really frequently. And yeah, sorry for to those I haven't called out by name. It's a growing list, but they are constantly coming with new ideas, new thoughts, new engaging things that just it means the world to me to be able to consume what they're thinking. Ray, I specifically want to call out. It's like a genius on Green Steel and thinks about the game so differently to other people. Um, I just am so blessed to be part of these conversations and to get to collaborate with these people that are putting ideas forward and keeping things fresh for me in an environment that can feel really stale. So, um, yeah, big shout out to them. And like I say, this deck comes from Dave, and who I don't always see eye to eye with, almost to a comedic level. It's like a very fun person to argue with as well as collaborate with. Um, and um, yeah, this deck, I mean, some people call this like previously that this deck was labeled like Brainiac. Um, the part of me that runs on puns wants to call it Brainy Quack now that it plays Webby, but I also can't stand to call the deck Brainiac, so sorry to all involved. I won't be doing it.
Why is it called
It's
Brainiac? What does it mean?
I
Oh,
don't know. I think it
yeah.
just requires brain power.
Okay.
I think it requires some
Okay.
thought, which I think is like could be a really hilarious like triple layered joke where I think it's if it's like a level one joke of just this deck does weird things and hurts your head to play, then it's like I appreciate that, but it's kind of funny. If it's like two levels above where the joke is essentially poking fun at the joke and suggesting that this is the only deck in the game that requires any level of thought, then I'm all in. Then it's like hilarious. Like to me, that's the perfect joke. Is that like this is the only thing that requires your two brain cells to collide at the right time to even to play. It's then it's hilarious. But yeah, I don't know the full origins of the name. Um, with all that said, it's a I've played a lot of this deck, this format, and it is really, really well positioned, I think. Like
Mhm.
Webby solves this problem that the deck had, which was like just getting behind to the blue decks a little bit. It really fills that gap. And it is just a pile of things that one for one on board and mean that the inkwell is the constrained resource for your
Mhm.
opponent. If you play against a deck like green blue, like blue steel, um, this makes like a mockery of those decks. This is one of those things that like I said, yeah, a lot of players, a lot of prominent players put out their tier lists. I know Maelstrom did, and they're all really high on Blue Steel. Lots of people are super high on Blue Steel. Blue Steel is one of those blue decks that historically plays a little has a little better of an anti-aggro matchup than some of
Mhm.
the other blue decks. So the whole for a lot of blue decks in the past was they would get run over by aggro. So if blue steel really is your top dog and you have a control deck that's fighting green wars against other fighting greed wars against other blue decks while suppressing aggro, this deck really has a chance to shine
Mhm. Yeah, I can see
because
that.
this deck embarrasses
Mhm.
those decks.
Mhm.
You will lose to random stuff with this. This is like you need nerves of steel to
Yeah,
register in a
yeah.
DLC because
I
you
can
will
totally
play
see
Amber
that.
Steel in round one and you will get sent to the
And
Shadow
just
Realm.
die to a
But if
daisy,
you have,
probably.
yeah, if you see a daisy and you just lose, then yeah, then GG's. But in terms of if all of the blue players are fighting greed wars against each other,
Mhm.
this embarrasses
Yeah, yeah.
them
I
in a lot of
could totally
matchups.
see that. That's unlosable nearly.
Um, if you shift a Webby turn two with this deck specifically
Yeah,
against a lot of those blue decks, it really does feel over.
yeah. So stupid.
Um,
Oh.
it's not if you have questions about a deck like this, and it's sort of like, well, what do the play patterns look like? I will never answer that for you. That is just I like no,
But I
it
think
really is
it's,
like a just but try to bounce something every single turn and eventually get to the ink where you Philip combo.
yeah, I think it's clever.
It's
It's clever.
phenomenal.
It's very clever. I think it makes a lot of sense in a format where it is. The only thing I was a bit surprised when seeing the list that there's no three cost Philip, so you have to basically ink to 9 to make the combo.
Yeah, and I- I'm not sure how the list has moved on since this
Mhm,
original
mhm,
version was developed by Dave. I think he probably has had some change in iterations. But yeah, I think I don't want to speak for him, but I believe the original thought was like that the shift Philip line wasn't really necessary because
mhm. You
it
bounce
was
everything.
hard. It it also like it develops you towards this combo turn, but it
Mhm,
also is it's three ink do nothing in this deck also,
mhm,
which
mhm.
is tough because if you you're already committing lots of turns to doing nothing with this, right? Like you can't play a Chromicon, then play a 3-drop that you can't turn sideways. You only are allowed to do nothing for 3 turns in a row. You're not allowed to because you're not a Cinderella deck. So yeah, it's tough. But I played this version, I adored it. Again, like it's really hard for me to separate how much like I can't really pinpoint the exact source of my enjoyment with the set, which is like I can't work out if I love the game or if I just love that I can beat blue decks.
Mhm.
I just I think I think that might be a massive part of what's going on. It's like when I play something like this or when I shift a Webby into a blue deck and I'm just like I just
Life is
feel
good.
elated. I just feel like it is pure joy. There is no way to describe it but joy. Where it's like your game plan is so linear for at least the first 6 turns, and I have that countered. Like I have that linear plan countered. Welcome to everybody else's world who is faced on the draw against a sail that's like, right, I can't do anything about this. Welcome, welcome to the mud. Like I've been here for years, and now I'm bringing you into the mud with me. Like, good luck finding your way out. This is my kingdom. I'm the Mud King, and you are in my world, and that is just so good. I've just felt so happy from that. Um, which should paint a picture of a player that's essentially been embittered by the state of the game in the past. Like I am, yeah. Are you familiar with the concept of the dead cat bounce?
No,
Have you ever heard of that before?
no.
It's like it's a thing. It's a thing that happens in finance, in the stock market or in crypto markets, that sort of thing. Which is that when something terrible happens to a business, like they they're going to go out of business. They just published their reports and they're in financial distress. Their stock price plummets to the ground very, very quickly, right? They're becoming a valueless business. But then gamblers and speculators will buy that stock at a
Mhm,
super low price because it has a chance of rebounding,
mhm.
and their buying of the stock at the low point
Okay,
pushes
okay,
it back
yeah,
up a bit, which people call the dead cat bounce because
yeah.
it's like
Uh-huh,
if you drop a dead cat from high enough, it'll bounce up a little bit.
uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, okay, I
I
understand.
what I'm feeling is that, which is that my fun has plummeted so much that now I'm feeling this like this short, sharp feeling of I basically get to take out my frustration on the strategies that have frustrated me. I don't think that's a long-term source of positivity. I think I'm just rebounding off the craziest crash out of all time. and and soon the novelty of that wears off, and I'm left with the fact that essentially my enjoyment was plummeting as well. Um, yeah, a very long-winded way of saying that like I
You
am
love
having a ton
Webby.
of fun. Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, it's the most convoluted way you can ever imagine saying I completely love the card Webby van der Kwek, like without reservation. But it doesn't come from a place of positivity. It comes
Hmm.
from a place of bitterness and resentment about blue decks and how long I felt like I've been living in their shadow and how unable I have felt to find any meaningful counterplay to cards like Sail the Azurite Sea. Um, I hate Sail the Azurite Sea with every single fiber of my being. Um, I feel the way I feel about Sail the Azurite Sea, like um, I was saying like at the top of the episode, I kind of said about like the emotional reaction to seeing something that you love be hurt. That is like it's not just as simple as the metagame changes. It's more like I found deep enjoyment from this thing, and something is taking that away, and you feel really negative because of that. I look at Sail the Azurite Sea like a mindless vandal that came and destroyed like there's a park where I love to walk every day. It's my happy place, and they literally just came and burnt it to the ground. Like they just came through for fun and burnt it. And I'm like, why would you do that? And they're like, well, that's my idea of fun actually. I like to burn stuff. I'm like, well, I was walking here where you've just burnt, and it was really beautiful, and now it's not. And like, well, tough luck. Burning stuff is my jam. Like that's the level of resentment that I feel. I just see it as such an egregiously powerful card.
Yeah,
I
it
just
is. It is.
I can't get over it. It's just eventually like eventually you just come to accept these things, and it's good to accept them.
No,
It's good to accept that like this.
I accept these things if I when I think it's only the turn two, and then after that I can like have different options. Then I and for just explanation, I think like we had this format like set seven where blue steel was so overpowered in blue red, and then the Hiram ban came, and I thought it, of course, I thought it was right, but at least I thought, like, okay, the mirror match is very skill intensive. The blue steel mirror match was very complicated. You had seven cards in your hand, your opponent seven, you had to set up these lucky dime turns. I know, I completely understand if people say that's not fun to me, but I felt something. I had like,
Mm,
I had how can I say, like a task to work on where I can improve in these play patterns that I think, okay, now
yeah.
I can't explain it good. I and now I it's like maybe we look at the next deck. Or did I interrupt you?
No, 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 no.
Um,
Yeah, I think I think this has to be freeform. This is, by the way, the
yeah,
weirdest. This is the weirdest
yeah.
metagame analysis video probably anyone will ever watch.
Yeah.
Which is like you talk about a deck for 5 minutes and you say it's really good, it's really fun, and then comes 5 more minutes of like, but fundamentally, fun doesn't exist and everything's wrong.
Oh
It's
man,
just like,
I feel so bad about it because like if I watch content um from other um no matter what, I always get annoyed by people that are spreading negativity, like that people that are this is bullshit, this is the new Pokemon game is nonsense. I want to talk about it's so, but I feel I just experienced that I love this game so much, honestly, just simply
yeah,
that I feel like I have to say these things because uh, um I think you can't be wrong if you just be honest. Like if you say what you feel, how can you be like wrong about that? You know what I mean. So you
yeah,
can't be like if I just say what I feel, how can I do something wrong? It's
yeah,
yeah.
and for us, it's so important as well, which is like we are emotional people
Mm-hmm.
who feel things very strongly, and with that comes positive and negative. We started doing this together. We started doing this podcast because we were having a brilliant time with the game, and we just wanted a space to share our thoughts, to share like how we feel about the game, to talk with each other, to let other people in on the fun conversations we were having. Like we had a passion for this that was very strong, and it was immediately obvious. Um, I'm not saying that like that can't come back because
No.
like I truly believe it can, and I'm having enough. I'm having enough fun to believe that like I feel good in
Mm-hmm.
general. But it's you don't have to apologize because like people don't just get that one way. Like if you have someone who feels this is like this is me vocalizing my therapy basically. When you feel things when you feel things very very strongly and when you are like an emotional driven person, you your highs and lows are much more pronounced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like I accept that I fluctuate and there are times when I can be tough to deal with because I've got into such a negative headspace that that's difficult. But that is measured out by the fact that when I'm good, I'm great and like a joy to be around. Um, so I don't, so it's kind of like, look, you're on a wild ride here. The fluctuations will be high. Hopefully, like that is part of what you're signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's yeah, like I don't think you have to apologize
No,
for
no,
putting forward like very reasoned thoughts on or feeling bad. You're
yeah,
not
yeah.
spreading negativity. You're literally just sharing how you feel, which is strong and people will resonate with.
And just as a recommendation, maybe general for life for people, it's just as my experience. When I struggled the most in life, it was always like it was always when I um, didn't allow my feelings, and that's what I
Yeah.
experienced now a bit, where I really don't like it, and everyone is enjoying it, and I think, okay, okay, you have to like it because it's good. It's good. Why you don't like it? And then, but you need to allow yourself to have your feelings. Like
Yeah,
if you, yeah,
totally.
yeah, it's just the way. So coming back from our therapy session, we have another deck list, red purple, and
Yeah.
red purple is, I think it's playable. But the problem is that red purple nearly come is down to a hyper aggro deck. In the meanwhile, it's like you play against a lot of decks. You play Diablo, Caesar, Genie, and hope that's quite enough to because
Yep.
honestly, that's what I've tested first, and I was very surprised how many decks have honestly problems to deal with that. Because like
Hmm.
no early body is enough to trade one of these characters. And
Hmm.
then, yeah, if this Diablo quests 3 times or something, then you get 2 dangerous lower mounts, and then it's very simple to win these games. Honestly, like it's sometimes so simple to win games with this deck. It's like
Yep.
it's stupid a bit. But from the game plan in itself, if you don't have these high lore gain in the early game, then from my point of view, the deck lacks power level. I mean, and it lacks counterplay. It lacks it lacks mostly for me the ability to dump your hand right now, and
Yeah. Sure. Yep.
and that's a bit sad. I don't know how you see it.
Um, yeah, the reason that I flag this is because, like I say, I've done a ton of testing,
Mm-hmm,
and very there's a really high density of really good players that are stuck to red purple like glue, as far as I can
mm-hmm,
tell. It's not a deck people are talking about a lot publicly, but from my
mm-hmm,
observation, there are a lot of players playing it to a very high level and consistently doing very well with it. Um, I think Headless Horseman is one of the most underrated legendaries in
mm-hmm,
the set. I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 to 3 weeks the price is like up there with the highest
mm-hmm,
ones. It's looking at the prices right now, release weekend, it's dirt cheap in France, in Europe. I don't understand why. It's like, other than the fact that people aren't being very public or forthcoming about this deck, but people are on it and they are doing well, pulling very high win rates, pulling very high MMRs. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to flag that up. And you rightly point out everything with the bottom end, with like the ideal curve outs. Yeah, Diablo, Sisu, Genie is really, really tough to keep pace with, and for a lot of these decks to answer at that point in the game. The key weakness of the deck, as it appeared early, was that you had no counterplay to like a Philip combo. So you kind of
mm-hmm,
sat there waiting. Whether it's a Philip combo, whether it's an Under the Sea, whatever it is, any of these like
mm-hmm.
one-sided things or like to opposing demoners, you would just red and purple cards, you have to just sit there and wait for them to happen to you. The real way that this deck opened up for me is in the top end, with Maleficents and Big Elsa's.
Mm-hmm.
You have really, really good answers back after being Philipped.
Mm-hmm.
These cards are great for just like, yeah, when you get to that point in the game, you just lock these things down. Um, and yeah, it'll just immediately remove them, and then you can get back to one for oneing and drawing some cards and trying to keep pace. But it does live and die by its ability to quest aggressively in the
Mm-hmm.
early game.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
If you don't do that, you will get into
Especially
trouble.
Diablo Sisu are very important to hit
Yes,
if you play
extremely
another
so.
2 or 3 drop, you basically do nothing, and you do nothing that threatens anything. So it's like
Yeah,
it's sad a bit, yeah.
if you curve Diablo Sisu Genie into Horseman your opponent's Genie, you've won that game. That game's over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
that is
That's a two quester, a large two
yeah, yeah.
quester developed every turn for 4 turns in a row, which capped off with the final one removing their likely only two quester. Like, you have won that game, and that's where the strength of the deck lies for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's this. I don't want to say linear runout, but it's this.
It is. It's linear. Yeah, it's linear. Everything is. Yeah, it's just everything other than the green purple deck, which is like, it's not linear, but it just has like 3 different lines.
um, yeah, but I think I think it's playable, and I think it's not that you completely lost if you don't, but it's like a lot of decks are really not, you're not able to give them time. That's the problem. Um,
Hmm.
that was completely different in a format where we had Be Prepared and such cards, where you also could dawdle a bit, and then it's like, yeah, bouncing rabbits and stuff, and because you had this access to board wipe, but this board wipe gets also, yeah, less consistent, and yeah, but
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's a solid deck, yeah. um
Yeah, I think so.
Demona is, that's so funny for me, because it got like that I hype this card to the moon. To this card
Yep.
is nearly unplayable right now. It's nearly, you can't play the card nearly. It's even in purple steel
Yeah.
unplayable. I think it's you can't give your opponent 3 cards, because it nearly always gives your opponent 3 cards. And then
Mhm.
against his green deck in general, this card has ink. It's an unusable card in green decks, into green decks, and into blue decks nearly as well, because again, your opponent, you refill their hand. Their top decks are better than yours in purple steel. So if you play purple steel, I would cut this card. I think nearly completely. That's insane for me.
Yeah, I mean,
How my opinion of a card can change from, it's a complete different. So funny.
yeah,
But
yeah. I think.
yeah,
I mean, I agree. I don't think it's unplayable, and
no,
I do
yeah,
still think it's a good card in purple steel. But it's so much lower than I anticipated it being, for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, like going into the set, I felt like my going into testing, my top legendary picks were Demona, Goliath, Hades. Sorry, uh, Demona, Goliath, Cinderella, and Hades was like contesting for being in there as well. And I think now I would say that my top 3 legendaries, if I had to pick them, I would say Cinderella's still there.
Mm-hmm,
It's really good for those decks. But Webby is up there with them, and honestly, like Demona and Headless Horseman are on the same level for me now.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
makes sense.
yeah, yeah,
Hades is still strong, I think.
yeah, I agree.
Especially, that's where I always be happy if I play against a mirror match, a purple mirror match, no matter the color, where I think I can play the game. But the problem is, we didn't talk about purple steel. The problem is about this
No,
matchup. I tested this a lot. Um, the mirror got, it was even bad in the last format, but it sadly got worse still, even because like all
yeah,
these new additions really beg you to go first. Hades is so
yes,
much better going first. The Thunderbolt is so much better going first. So
yeah.
it's
Demona,
really, yeah, Demona. It's everything wants you to go first, and
Yep,
it's really really hard to outplay people in the mirror match in purple steel. It's so 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 hard. It
I
is
agree.
nearly impossible. Um, yeah, because in the past, even last set, I had struggles with that matchup because it like, yeah, these strength lines is so oppressive in the mirror match, and yeah, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Is there anything? Oh, we were such a confusing episode today. But
Yeah, I think we need to allow ourselves it. Like we obviously had a lot to say, and it's yeah, it's good to run through the conversation. And I think it's really good as well to explore like how you can simultaneously be like happy and
mm-hmm,
unhappy with the format in the game. Um, yeah, like I am going into this set with, and this will sound so weird in the context of some of the stuff just said, but I'm going in with like a way more positive mindset than I had previously. Like I'm genuinely excited. I'm really excited to go to the Wakefield CCQ and cast. I think this will be a fun game to observe and to look at the different strategies people bring and kind of attack this. Uh, I think there are ways, really creative ways you can shake this up,
mm-hmm.
but the baseline is not that engaging. It's not that fun. But I am really, really excited to just be amongst the game and enjoying it again in a way where there is counterplay, where there is space for creativity. Um, I think that is the positive I'm taking away. And overall, just in terms of how low I felt in set nine, like it's night and day. I'm so much happier. I'm really sorry that you're not because I know like I've been there, that you're going through what I've just been through. And while I can see the light now, I totally, totally empathize with what it's like to feel that way. And we've been doing this for years now. Each day just goes into the next and you don't think about it, but like we've been doing it for years, and the game that we initially fell in love with has changed completely. um in some ways, like for the better, in some ways not. And over time um your experience with it will change as well. And yeah, I
Mm.
totally feel for you, and I get it. I really hope that you start to feel better about it soon, because I do. Yeah, I empathize. It's not throwing your toys out the pram. You're not just wildly complaining about stuff. You're literally just holding your hands up and saying, "This thing that I love has changed in ways that make me unable to love it," and that's okay. Like that's okay. You're allowed to feel that way.
Yeah, it's very kind for you to say that. Yeah, I just want to repeat again that I want everyone to have fun, and if you have fun, then please have fun, even without my complaints. I also want to emphasize that I often got the feeling when people are complaining. I don't want to say like, but you often get the feeling like just get better. Even when I say people when I see people complaining in the past, I always thought like, get better. Um, Steel song unreadable freaking purple. Then I think, get better. So and then I think like people, if you say that and if you think that, it's maybe even true. Because I just
Mm.
have not confidence anymore, and then that's totally reasonable for me to think that way. And then I yeah, I just have a bit of a burnout, and then it's hopefully hopefully yeah, reignited soon.
Yeah.
um yeah. Yeah, we want to announce something additionally that is a bit sad, but yeah, it's like we want to. I personally want to thank everyone for watching these podcasts now for nearly it's nearly exactly a year now, and I
Hmm.
enjoyed it so much. But we decided to make a bit of a break. We want to emphasize that it's not the end. We make a break due to multiple reasons. It is, yeah, I have struggles not only because of the game, but it's like it's, yeah, I just don't feel like I can do it. It might not seem like because I love today so much, but I don't feel good, and I can't. yeah, I don't feel like I can, but I really wanted to do this episode today. That was really important for me. And for you, you have also reasons why it's better to make a break, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was always plan. It was always the plan for me to take December off completely,
Mm-hmm.
um, and completely step away from the game for a month because I get married at the start of the month, which is extremely exciting, and I have taken the month off work, and I'm just gonna spend the month. Like I'm a Christmas person. Like I love Christmas, and so does my partner, and we are gonna just take that month and just enjoy that time with no distractions. And I'm really excited for that. So December was always off the cards. It makes sense to start the break a little earlier because we're both a little burnt out in different ways, and
Yeah,
it's good. It's good to remember that we do this because we choose to, not
yeah, yeah.
because we're into a schedule. I think it's so important to choose the things that you're doing. As soon as anything like this starts to feel like a job, that can crush your passion for it. And like we'll be back to do this again because we love this and because we love what we've built and because we love talking to each other about the game, if nothing else. Um, but also like I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but one of my philosophies with goal setting, and this was something I said to you in a message earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
I always think it's really important to, whenever you have goals, to like abstract them a level above.
Mm-hmm.
So as an example, many people would say that their goals are maybe something like to qualify for continentals, to qualify for worlds, to day two a DLC, whatever your goals are. Every single goal that you set that's specific is good. It's good that you have something to aim for. But then I always say, I always would encourage you to ask yourself, why is that my goal? What is it I'm trying to fundamentally feel through that goal? Because when you think on that level, you can realize that there are multiple paths to reach that point. So for me, it's really simple. I my goals are to qualify for European Continentals again, and to make content that people enjoy, such that I'm a person people enjoy interacting with at events. Um, when I abstract that out a level, what I want to feel is fulfillment and happiness. I want to feel like I turned my time to something, it was appreciated, and I got the indication that I was good at something, and that made me feel happy. And when you think on that level, you can start to like recognize when steps you're taking towards the concrete goals, like qualifying for continentals, might be coming at the cost of what you're trying to ultimately achieve. Um, if it's making me less happy to play the game a ton, then what's the point in me trying to achieve this goal? I was trying to be happy. I'm undermining the thing I wanted to reach on the path there. And all of this I say just purely to kind of say like we we feel the same way about a lot of things. We want to just be happy and
Mm,
enjoy the things that we're enjoying. And the path within something like this hobby with that might not always be linear.
mm,
Sometimes the best route to happiness might be stopping for a bit
mm-hmm.
so that you can breathe and get back to a point where you're choosing to do this. Um, and that goes for everyone. Like, don't feel bad for taking. You get so priced into these things, it starts to feel like qualifying or staying relevant, being a face at tournaments. It just feels like the be all and end all of your existence, and it's so not. It's so not. It should be like the cherry on top. It should be the thing that brings you a bit of joy on top of your base happiness. And don't be afraid to just like pump the brakes when it's not bringing you joy, because it won't always. I'm getting so lost in like numerous analogies here, but the other thing I think of is like imagine a person, they have a favorite restaurant and they go there every single day. It's a soup restaurant. They love soup. Soup is their favorite thing in the world. They love nothing more than soup, but they hate seafood. They absolutely can't stand seafood. They go to their soup restaurant every single day, and it's where they eat. One day they go to the soup restaurant, and the soup of the day is clam chowder. Suddenly, the thing that they love is expressed in a way they don't enjoy. Like, what do they do? Do they continue to eat this thing that they hate just because it's within the context of the
Hmm.
place that they love? No. You can go somewhere else for a day until the thing that you love is back to the form that you love it in. And just things like that just kind of, I think, keep me grounded and realize like I only need to do what I choose to do with this game. If it ever feels like work, if it ever feels unenjoyable, like I can just stop and that's fine. I'm not beholden to anyone, and I can come back when it's fun, and then dip when it's not. Like we over engineer and we worry too much, but it's so simple fundamentally. Like you're feeling really low right now, but when you don't feel low, the game will still be here. I will
Yeah,
still be here, and we'll be back to doing what we love.
yeah,
And it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that.
yeah. That's very good. True. That's very true. Yeah. Yeah. Last but not least, I want to really make a shout out to my. But that's something I wanted to do for a long time now. I would really want to thank very much my because I want to say like Metafy is something I will still do. I'm I love to analyze the game in a way where I don't need to play it competitively. So if I don't feel the pressure to compete, I can totally have fun to analyze it, and I think I'm good in that. And I want to thank everyone who supports me since I have so many supporters on Metafy. It's incredible to me, and yeah, I want to thank you for that. And I just want to say that I will. Um, um, yeah, I will do that. I will continue to do that, and I still will look at the game. I won't go completely or something, and I just feel a bit of like, yeah, need a bit of a break, and to play competitively, and yeah, and
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
Uh,
Thanks everyone.
uh,
I would really want to thank you everyone for watching us. We have so many viewers every week. It is incredible
yeah.
how thankful I am for that. Yeah,
Yeah, and like
that's it.
the number of podcast projects that never get off the ground and don't make it past
Yeah,
episode 3 or 4 is
yeah,
huge, and we've made it to 50. We'll
yeah,
be back in the new year
yeah,
to make it past that, but like as a just as a thing to reflect on, it's been so special to me just reaching this milestone, and having this every week has been so important to my
yeah.
enjoyment of the game, and
Me too.
yeah, it means the world. Like it really does.
Yeah,
um I can't wait to be like at that event at the end of the month casting. I just that's one of the new challenges I'm turning my hand to. Um and it's like the opportunities to do things like that have come from this. It's not people don't just randomly say, "Hey, do you want to cast this event?" because you're just about a tournament or something. People listen to this and they thought you could maybe do some casting, and I'm infinitely grateful for the opportunities that have come up through it. And like, yeah, I can't wait to when we're at our best. We are so good. Like,
yeah,
not in a not in like a conceited way. Um, but we have something. We have like a genuine friendship and a quality that we bring to this that like I love doing it. I'm always gonna love doing it. So like I can't wait to feel like that again. And in the new year, there's no doubt to me that we'll be back in full force. But I also think it's so important to take a break now, um,
yeah,
and stay good, because things that get bad are the things that people let get bad, right?
yeah.
It's,
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for saying these things. Yeah, I think that's very good summary. Yeah, that leaves us only to say thank you everyone for watching every week. We are not away from this world, and you can always write us, or me at least. And yeah, do you have anything to add?
no, just yeah, just thank you so
Yeah,
much to you and to everyone. Yeah, it's been a really great experience. I know that like when I reflect and wrap up as much, it sounds like it's the end, and I'm being very clear it's
yeah,
not the end. But like it's also really important to reflect. Like this is a really special thing to happen in life and to have. And it's just I really appreciate it. It's been so good. I appreciate all of you. Really.
yeah,
Um, it's been such a fun journey. I'm really looking forward to kicking off chapter 2 in the new year. But until then, like, thanks for all the good times, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Nice.
meant a lot to me.
Nice. So then, thank you everyone for watching, and till next time. Till next time. Yeah. And bye bye.
Bye bye.